Hello, my name is Kelly Hollander and I work at Viking Forge. Today I'm going to speak to you about my career in human resources. I'm going to begin today's presentation talking about how I got to my current position at Viking Forge. I started as a psychology major at Ball State and received my bachelor's degree in 2011. I went straight on to graduate school and received my master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology in 2013. Industrial and organizational psychology is just a big word for business psychology. I study topics such as leadership development, training, legal compliance, feedback, and performance management. It was broader than an HR-specific program. I did not think I wanted to work in resources, but after getting my first HR job, I realized I really enjoyed it. I started at a commercial cleaning company where I did skilled recruiting, training of managers, and performance management. After that, I got a job at Viking Forge where I started as the HR generalist. Basically, I did a little bit of everything: entry-level recruiting, orientation, training, and data management. After 6 months as the HR generalist, the HR left, and I asked to be considered for the position. As a result, I started in the HR manager role in 2015, and I have been there ever since. Viking Forge is a manufacturing plant that does forging, which is heating metal to the point of being able to form it without melting it to a liquid state. We operate 3 shifts and have about 145 employees total, roughly 135 direct hire and 10 temporary employees. Viking Forge serves many industries, including oil and gas, which is the largest percentage of our customer base, and automotive and trucking. Some of our products include ball valves and pipe fittings for the oil and gas industry, wheel hubs for automotive, and D-rings for the trucking industry. I will put a link in the description for Viking Forge's process video. This is a clip of our forging process. You can see that it's a hot and dirty environment. It's an entry-level job where employees must be mentally and physically present each day. For my individual career path, I did all my education straight through. I went from high school to college and then on to grad school. I had some retail jobs and internships during undergrad, and that helped me see what it was like to work in the real world and gave me a sense of how employees view HR. In my first retail job, the HR director always seemed overwhelmed and annoyed, and that's how I saw HR until I got my first HR job. I went from one entry-level job to another entry-level job. I made the switch because I found out about Viking Forge through networking, and it seemed like a really good place to work. Also, manufacturing was a new industry for me, and I wanted to learn as much as possible. Most people do not get promoted after 6 months in an entry-level position. However, in my case, it worked out that way. It happened to be a good opportunity for me, and I expressed interest when I found out the position was open. My role has changed each year since I've been there. I've taken on more responsibility and have seen many things change. No 2 days are alike in HR, and I really enjoy that. There are the typical office job tasks such as checking emails, checking your voicemail, going to meetings. Depending on what's going on in the shop, you might go into work thinking, I have a list of things to do today, and then leave without getting any of them done because issues came up that required immediate attention. There's a model of HR that breaks it down into 3 areas. So the administrative or the lowest level tasks, such as entering employee hours, maintaining employee data, and any other day-to-day maintenance. The next level is functional tasks, which could be doing an orientation, running payroll, or managing the HR generalist. The highest level or strategic tasks are things such as selecting benefits for employees or selecting candidates for a position. Some days may be all functional or all strategic. It really just depends on the day. If someone works in a larger HR department, they may have one specific task, such as benefits administration. In that case, they may not be responsible for all HR functions. My personal opinion is that the purpose of HR is to find a balance between the employee wants and needs and the company's wants and needs. Sometimes they are aligned and sometimes they're not. HR is basically a liaison between the employees and the company. So now I'm going to talk about the things I like about my job. I really love the variety of work at my job. It changes every day, whether it's an employee relations issue, a data management issue, or a pandemic. I've dealt with a lot of sides of HR since I'm in an HR department of two. I keep my HR generalist informed of updates and processes I'm working on so we can work together cohesively. I like having each day be different and meeting people from all walks of life. Part of recruiting and being a company representative is selling the company. I enjoy that because I work for a good company and I like telling people what it's like to work here. As a manager, I am involved in making company decisions. I like solving problems and seeing issues from all angles. One of the things I enjoy the most at work are the company events. Viking Forge is a family-oriented company and tries to give back to employees on a monthly basis. In addition, we also have an annual company picnic and holiday breakfast where management cooks for the hourly associates. These are two events where the company is showing the employees how much they are valued, and I'm glad to be a part of that. Every job has things you don't like. On the other side of making company decisions is that sometimes it's really difficult to decide. Everyone has their opinion of what should be done, and you cannot make each employee happy. I also do not like terminating employees. I don't think anyone does. It's a very tough conversation to have. Conflicts arise in HR either between employees or between an employee and the company. I personally do not like confronting people or dealing with conflict, so it's difficult to want to have tough conversations with people or get involved in interpersonal conflict. Also, it can be really frustrating that change does not happen overnight. It can take years for certain policies or practices to be accepted by either management or employees. Sometimes it feels like you're moving one step forward and two steps back. Overall, terminating employees is the only HR-specific task that I personally do not like. However, it does get easier with more experience. So now I'll go into my personal career advice. I highly recommend finding a job that you love. I love HR, but I didn't know that I would when I got my first HR job. Sometimes you have to try out a few different jobs before finding what works for you and what you're good at. Also, finding a good company is key. The things that I look for are, do they treat people well? And don't always trust online reviews. Take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Ask what the company values are in an interview and make sure that they're aligned with your values. For example, Viking Forge values work ethic, and so do I. I wanted to work at a company where work ethic was valued. The last thing I look for is, do you get along with the people you work with? You will never get along with everyone, but I like to work somewhere that I feel I have allies that I can come to for either help or advice, that everyone has your best interest. I also recommend keeping a new job for at least a year. I see a lot of recent grads make the mistake of quitting after just a few months. I feel like it takes about a year to really understand a new job and to get a grasp of how to make your job better. You may be able to improve processes or make your job easier, but it typically takes about a year to figure that out. The biggest advice I have is to ask for help when you need it. So many employees tell me that they are struggling at work, but they don't say anything to their supervisor or manager. Even if you have been trained, don't be afraid to ask to be shown how to do something again. Your supervisor will appreciate that you're asking about that or potentially making a mistake. This may be easier in a smaller company, but I also recommend to ask to be involved in a project. Things come up at work that aren't HR related per se, but I have volunteered to work on them. It may be a marketing campaign, the company picnic, a continuous improvement project. If you have any special talents or abilities, ask to be involved in these projects and show it off. It will be satisfying for you, and it will show the employer a new skill of yours. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you find a career that is satisfying to you, and I wish you the best of luck with your education and or job searches.